welcome to Centurions Corner, and today we are going to be building another clone, and as you can see it is Commander Doom. So I thought I'd decide to do this one. It's a bit of a crossover, but it's all like an official crossover, isn't it? It is based on Doctor Doom as a clone trooper, so why not else? So we've got a standard bootleg here. It's the old style bootleg body. It's my favourite. I've already sort of condensed it down. I have got 3D printed parts here from Clone Base Customs on Instagram. So we have the head, we've got the pistols. Well, I've got 3 lots here, I don't know why, and obviously we got some holsters as well. And just over there, just out the way, so I don't lose them, because he's printed them off so many times. I've got the little kind of captain kind of badge that goes up here as well. So I guess without further ado, let's just get on with this guy. So starting off, the main colour that I used for Commander Doom was flat green XF5. So if you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to like, subscribe and ding the bell so you don't miss the next episode. It really helps the channel and it's very much appreciated. Thank you. Once the helmet and the body and the legs had a complete cover, I once again went over and gave it a double coat to get rid of all those streaks and lighter parts as well. After the green, I finished off the helmet with the faceplate with a white, which was flat white XF2. While the body and the helmet were drying, I used XF64 red brown on the holsters and the belt. So next up with the helmet, I went over with a semi, that's what she said, over with a semi black gloss X18. I did the lens, the rebreather parts and the trim that goes around the back of the helmet as well. So this part, I thought I decided to do a new technique. So I put a bit of the gunmetal into a little small pot, added a bit of water as well to make a sort of like a bit of a wash, but not so it's sort of so much like a black wash. just to cover all the white parts of the actual armour itself, because he has like a silver kind of sheen to it. It's like silvery dirt, so I didn't want to go too sort of aluminium looking that you look like Doctor Doom. It just kind of like a dirty shiny silver. So with the gunmetal, just do a nice wash over it. Obviously apply plenty so it covers the actual whole figure itself, and the actual full effect at the end actually looked pretty cool, to be honest. So, building the Kamara, this is the bit I was really hating, but I decided to give it a go. I never actually purchased my own, I always create them. And I've got some stencils that I use from a Captain Rex spare. So I'm going around it on some leather leggings from Amazon, which I'll put the description down below. And with all these paints, etc., you can find them on there. I'm affiliated with Amazon, so I just got to let you know that it doesn't cost you anything else, but I do get some bits back from it. But using those leather leggings are absolutely fantastic. You can actually apply paint to them and they don't dry out. It doesn't make the material go rigid. You can still get the stretch and all that. So once I actually had the templates on a bit of fabric, I painted all over them before cutting them out. So first of all, we're going to use the first time we use the yellow, which is yellow green XF4 on his badge. I'm just holding it with a cocktail stick so it doesn't move around. And then also applying that same paint to his first shoulder belt on his left hand side. So next up, using some masking tape. You can use any type of masking tape. This is a Tamura little 6mm. It's up to you if you want to purchase these ones or just use your own initial kind of masking tape. So just doing it, make sure that it's actually straight across the top. Applying the next part and the next part just to make that triangle. Pull it down, make sure it's okay. If not, make it larger, make it smaller. It's entirely up to you how you see fit, how that triangle fits on his chest. Obviously, once in place, just apply it with the yellow. Now cutting out the Kamara to make it more of the sort of like shape that we know. Just be careful as you're cutting, at least get sharp scissors so the fabric doesn't splinter. So it's the first time we're using this grey, which is dark sea grey XF54, and just do the trim around the outside of the Kamara. Now the shoulder belt is dry, we're going to go over with the green to apply that extra part on there. It's weird, you look at Google images, some do it like in a straight kind of line, others do it in a kind of like a V shape, but it's actually shaped like the sea, you know, it's like a wave. It goes up to a point and then curves back on itself again. Once done, just repeat the same process on the other shoulder belt. And on this shoulder belt, there's just enough gap of silver, and then just kind of doing that stripe again, just a little bit underneath the main part. So next up, I'm just looking at a few reference pictures. Some have a bit of grey in the inside, a bit like Commander Cody. So I'm just applying that. It's the same as the sea grey, and it's just a bit of contrast for the armour. Using the same grey, we're going to go around on the brow at the back of the helmet. Make it more realistic. Lovely. So now is the moment of truth of our stencil triangle on his chest. And it comes out perfect. Next up, do exactly the same process again, using the same stencil, because you should have the size kind of matched up. With the point of the shoulder belt, just make sure that it goes to the same point of the triangle as well, and then just cover that in green. Next up, we're just colouring the little badges on this badge. So he's got a red, a blue, and another darker blue. So as the figure is taking shape, this is the part I was absolutely dreading the most. So just take your time, get some masking tape, and it goes up in sort of like V's shapes. I did, however, when I was doing it, I only thought there was 2, but there turned out to be 3. So I did the last one by freehand, and you see how it turns out. Some actually bled out with the masking tape. However, just go over those parts of green, just trim it down, and it looks absolutely perfect. While I was drying on the actual helmet itself, I did the little triangle on the top and then done the lines down the side of the visor. This is the first time we're going to be using the aluminium, and I was just doing those on the sort of like his 2 rebreathers at the front of his helmet. Also the aluminium, I covered in the aerials on the side of his helmet. It's up to you on this part, but from the dark blue that we used on the badge, I actually doing the little blue stripes on the side of his helmet. It didn't really show up as much, but at least it's there. Next up, it's time to glue the badge to the chest part. Try and match it as when you're gluing it, that is in the same line as the upper part of the triangle, so it's just a nice clean straight line across the top. So as I said earlier, you can see that it bled out unfortunately with the yellow, but don't be too hasty, it's absolutely fine. So just do by freehand and it works out fine. To be honest, it even looks better freehanded rather than me using the masking tape. One did sort of splodge out enough, but again I just went back to the green and just put them back into their own little place where they should be. Last part on the Camara, it was just kind of like that yellow weird sort of like door handle thing that he has on it. So I've done that freehand rather than using the kind of masking tape and stuff like that, and it worked out fine. And then there's a small little triangle at the top of as well, so just take your time, be careful, don't put too much paint on that brush. So it's going to be time to start assembling the figure. What you just need now is to apply the holsters to the belt, and with this I use a bit of ribbon that I cut in half. Glue the ribbon onto the holsters, and once they're dry you can actually just slide those bits of ribbon either side of the belt as you place it on top of the figure. Okay, once you're in place, then just get the Camara parts using the same glue again and just slowly put them into place. Just dot it with the glue just around and just slowly take your time. Don't put too much glue on there. You don't want it all sprawling over it and getting on your fingers and then ripping off the paint. So again, take your time. I use tweezers just to get a little bit of pressure on there so it's not my fingerprints getting stuck to it. Now once you're happy where the holsters are, then just pull those ribbon parts up to a desired height that you want, and then I use the knife just to cut off the excess that I don't need anymore. Once I've done that, I just use the glue to make sure they stick to the belt and they're not going to fall out anytime soon. Now it's time to start assembling the figure, so I've just popped the torso back onto the actual legs, and with the head It's just slightly, because it's 3D printed, I had to trim it out a little bit, and then just using the whole hot glue technique by putting a bit of Vaseline on the actual neck. It's not going to get stuck to that. So put Vaseline around that sort of ball point, and then fill up the head with hot glue, and then just chuck it on. So here he is, all finished and weathered up. This videos actually took a lot longer than I expected. I've just sort of like edited it all because I wanted to do the review at the end, but also I know you guys like the process of the making as well. So I will bring this guy a little bit later on in the week with a kind of review just dedicated to this guy, so you can get a nice closer look at him as well. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed making this guy. I think he looks absolutely incredible. He's actually turned out 10 times better than I thought he was going to do, actually. I was always a bit scared doing Doom, especially on these parts here. So thank you so much for joining me on this one. He will be coming up hopefully in the next coming weeks, and I'll see you then. So take care, subscribe, ding the bell, comment away, and I'll see you next time. Bye.